Welcome to another episode of Breaking Even, where amateurs stay amateur. I'm your host, Haas, with my amateur buddies, Amateur Yul, Amateur Chev, and our special guest, Amateur Dakey. Welcome, Dakey. How are you?
Going well, how are you?
Not too bad. Firstly, I heard this before off air, but I want to get the fans out there. What is your Supercoach team name?
Oh, okay. It's Perfect Hufflepuff. I'm going to have to thank the wife for that one. I gave her the keys to the Supercoach and she came up with that. So
Yep.
She loves Harry Potter and also the Bulldogs. So it's kind of the mix we got there.
It's nice.
I like it. It's better than Joe and Dale.
Well, how do they say in pod?
Yeah, but not.
Anyway,
however you say it, I like it, mate.
That's right. It's a good name. Anyway, some other questions. You're in the Doggies cheer squad. Is there any funny stories that you can share with us?
I think one of the funniest would have to be just when the banner breaks and you kind of left in the wind. And one of the times was pre-season at Whitten Oval, we were putting up the banner. The whole right side of the banner went down. I had the rope, so I ended up on my backside on a nice, wet, windy Whitten Oval day. So those things do happen, unfortunately, but we try to make sure that we put enough tape on and make sure the newbies that are doing the banner don't put the tape on, because that's when we don't have enough.
Okay. You bleed red, white, and blue. How did it come about?
Born into it. My dad, from word go, signed me up as a member. So already a 30-year member for the Western Bulldogs in my 31 years. So it's a joy. It's been a long way to some success. We've seen two grand finals in my time and one premiership. Best year of my life, 2016, apart from my wedding day, pretty much.
Nice. You've subbed to our channel. How do you find our content, and how did you get it come around to it?
Absolutely love the content. I watch it every day. I look forward to it. I message Vish asking when it's coming up, because I'm waiting for my fix. And I come about it just because of your love, and you kept giving me the slide in my DM saying to me you watch it. So I jumped in there.
I
was forced, but I absolutely love it now, and I'm waiting for every week.
What do they call that? Stockholm syndrome or something?
I appreciate it, mate. I know you're always one to comment and like and give us a big rap. So appreciate that, buddy.
I do actually have a question without notice here. So talking about the banners and stuff. So there was a few years ago where I think the Doggies were the first one. They had a comedian do all their banners.
Danny.
Yeah. So I want to know is how many jokes or content would he provide you guys, and then would anyone pick those out? And were there any that were not very appropriate that you couldn't use that you remember?
So he didn't send them to the cheer squad directly because it had to go through Bulldogs, like the Bulldogs board and things like that. But there was one week that he did rock up to banner, showed us 6 of his suggestions, and he always put a dirty joke in for a bit of a laugh around the membership stands and things like that in the staff office, and just have a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have him anymore, so he's moved on to other ventures.
He wouldn't survive in today's society, mate.
He wouldn't.
Jokes would not. I reckon.
I would do wish that we got back some comedian back on the banner, because it was
for sure.
It was a good time, and it's just not your basic.
No worries.
Yeah, that was good.
Sweet. We'll get into the round 9 preview then. First game. I'll start with Young. There's a double header on Friday, actually.
Yeah.
Richmond versus Geelong, and then there's Eagles and the Suns. Young, who do you reckon for this game, Richmond and Geelong?
Well, I think Blicavs is one to kind of look out for. He's been kind of getting a little bit better as the years progress. At the moment, he's only averaging like 93 odd, but his last few games he's been averaging last game he averaged 113. So last year he averaged roughly about 97 odd, right? So I would say that if he was to get back to what he was averaging last year for the rest of the year, he'll probably be averaging about 100. So I think if you want someone to come in as a ruck mid, then definitely bring him in.
That dual position really helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, and he's still fairly cheap, right? So he's still fairly cheap at 519.
Do you think with Stegler coming in to the team, that's going to affect his scoring now?
I reckon it frees him up more.
Yeah, give him more midfield time.
He'll give him more midfield time, yeah. But
he can play anywhere, really.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, but the only thing you
First-
probably don't want him to be is key position forward or back, right? So
Yeah.
you want him roaming, you want him on the wing, and they do normally go to him, so he does get a lot of possession.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what helps him. That he
Yeah,
does,
I
that he
think-
just doesn't go forward if another ruck is if he goes around.
yeah.
No dramas. One for me to suggest is only 19% of teams. It's Tom Stewart at 604k. He scored last week 19
19% of the teams.
Only 19%, yeah. 19%.
Yeah,
His average for the season is 106.4. And then he only missed a game or two.
2 or 3, I think. Yeah.
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 So I think, yeah, if you haven't got him in your team, start to bring him in if you can. All right, moving to the next game, which is a Friday night as well. Dakey, the Eagles at home taking on the Suns. Anyone here that you can
Blockbuster
recommend?
game.
It is.
Absolute blockbuster. I was just saying before to the boys, like if you want a good night's sleep, chuck that on. You'll be falling asleep at halftime.
Training drill.
So
You want a good night's sleep tonight?
I know you're West Coast supporter, but I don't know why you're putting yourself through it this year. It's yeah, not a great time for West Coast thing. They rattle with injuries, but yeah. So
Any players that you recommend here?
I think you can't go past Noel Anderson. He is
On fire.
since Cook has been out, like he has just been on fire. There was always that question mark: did he need Miller to be able to keep scoring that well? And he's just shown that he's actually even more controlling player and thing. And I think Suns really have a gun for you.
189 last week, break even of 9, and he's projected to go 56k, and he's already at 605. So he's climbing up Mount Everest. He's trying to get the bond, I reckon.
One of our coaches in our team, Dave,
Dangerous Dave.
Dangerous Dave, sat him from the start.
We seem to mention Dave a lot, but
We do, yeah. He's got a couple on, I think, soon.
He's on fire, isn't he?
But yeah, he's had it from the start, and we gave him a bit of crap about it, you know.
Great.
But mate, like that's paying dividends now. It's
we were actually talking before we went on there. But do you think Anderson top 5 Brownlow?
At this rate,
Sneaky chance.
yeah.
at this rate, if he keeps going the way he is,
But Miller hasn't played that well this year,
no.
so a lot of the wins probably Anderson are getting the votes.
If you have him in your team, would you VC him?
Yeah, I think
Against West Coast.
I'm looking at with Dangerfield. I had Dangerfield, so looking to get Anderson in, and I think he will be my VC, and hoping that he does well.
No dramas.
I think you just be that confident that just put the C on him. Don't worry about the VC, just put the C on him.
I don't know about that.
Pretty gutsy, isn't it?
Well, that's a gutsy move, but we'll keep the VC going.
There's not many rookies going around, but there's a rookie at 203, Rory Atkins. He's played his 2 games. He's projected to go up 43k or so. He's at 203, mid forward, so he's got a dual position. Sorry, mid defense. Would you recommend him?
I do, especially if teams have Rue. If Rue doesn't get off his suspension this week,
We'll get off, I believe it.
I hope he does. Like it's football incident, but if he doesn't, definitely a look in because there's a couple of weeks out for him. And then if Roberts has got a long-term injury, if anyone did trade him in without getting the upgrade of price, I think definitely try to bring Atkins in on that one.
No dramas. Next game, which is the Saturday, first one, Chef. Swans versus the Dockers. Anyone here?
wow, big game for the Swannies.
It's a must win, I reckon.
Definitely must win. Andy Brayshaw is I think going to be a popular one this week. Very well priced, 531. Finally got back to some form last week, even though they played the Hawks and some witches hats. But regardless, it's form. And besides Sarong, no one's doing anything in that team. So finally, got his stuff together.
I hope he doesn't because I've got sore on.
He's having a great team.
They can both play
Great,
well
great
together.
team.
That's a great team.
Break even of 54, projection price increase of 24,000. Very viable option to upgrade. If you have someone like a Danger or someone you want to upgrade or downgrade even, you might have to save some money. Yeah, I think he's a good option there.
I love to bring him in. He's breaking at 54 is very juicy odds as well. So it's a good time to bring him in this week. One that I suggest is Nathan Fife. So he's actually lost money. And his projection is high at 126, but he's at 313k. he could be a good viable option. Hold on, let me finish. For the bye rounds, what do you recommend here?
Well, I had him at the start of my team,
Well, I did too.
and
I think we all did, but
I think I kept him for longer than I should have.
Yeah.
So no.
What do you mean you kept him?
I think this is
Well,
Fozzie Pickett all over again, Huss.
Yeah.
I think
Oh.
I should have traded him straight away, and then I think I kept him for
An extra
a
week.
game where I could have bought Zeeble in, and then an extra week, and that obviously cost me the win,
Mhm.
and it cost me some money. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
No. Who's going to win that game? What's the Dockers? Jong
Longmire.
Longmire.
Lumia.
Longmire.
What's the Dockers one?
Longmire.
Longmire.
Wait, did
No,
That's the Longmire.
yeah.
For Dockers, yeah.
yeah? What did I say?
Longmire.
Lumia.
Well, sorry.
I think you got Longmire and Longmire.
Yeah, I did. I combined them and there's a hybrid version of them.
The Swans have to win that game.
SCG.
Yeah, they have to.
But he kick a bag here or not?
So,
Mhm.
will he get booed? Maybe,
Point.
Well, that's
Sydney.
discussing later, I guess.
I think he'll get a standing ovation every time he touches the ball.
Especially at the,
But-
SCG, yeah.
The
Maybe the 5 Docker supporters in the crowd might.
It'll be the bench.
I think he
Yeah,
needs to
he'll pick it
start
back.
finding form. Otherwise, he's taking a spot from the team.
From,
He's getting
from
old.
who though? Like,
Who would replace him?
what is Logan McDonald playing? He's injured,
He,
right?
he's look,
Is he playing?
He's fine.
He's playing.
Sam Reed's the only one out, but he's always injured, so he's not gonna-
Yeah. I don't think he's taking a spot from anyone.
Might be time to play kid though. He's getting on and
Yeah, maybe we finally get the Sydney Ruckman to start playing.
he's due this week, I think.
He's
Tom
been
Hickey.
an emergency every.
Tom Hickey.
No, I'm talking about McAndrew.
Andrew.
McAndrew, the rookie,
the
right?
Is he a rookie, is he? Okay. I wasn't aware of this player.
No, not Hookie, not Hookie.
But Hickey's due this week.
Yeah,
as well.
but I'm talking about the
With
McAndrew.
some rock cover, which we'll get into later on. All right, next game, guys. The Roos, taking on Port. Is this going to be another nightmare draw for the Roos?
Gosh, I want Port Adelaide to lose so badly.
Is that because of Hinkley?
Nah,
Because it's Port Adelaide. It's general. To be honest.
Port Adelaide, yeah. But no, I think Port Adelaide will win. They're just getting a pretty good, decent draw right now. So, and I think my player, I think to watch out for Supercoach wise is Finlayson.
Mhm.
So I think he's a bit of a smoky. He's not going to be on everyone's kind of lips to bring in, but he's a bit of a smoky. He's a dual position player, and he's under 500. Yeah, and he's projected to break even at 78. Right, and he's been scoring an average like over 100 in the last few games, so he's been scoring really well. So I think that one is my if you want to be a point of difference, Finlayson is going to be the one.
Could have even scored higher, missed a couple of easy shots too.
Yeah, Mhm.
Okay, no drums.
Yeah, and especially also that they don't have they're not using what's his name as a ruck. They're not using
That's it.
like I said as a ruck. They've got the teak, so he's going to ruck a little bit more as well.
I've got a player here from North Melbourne. He's played his first game. Blake, how do you pronounce his surname, Chef?
Drury, but with a T.
He's priced at
So
102.
the jury is out.
The jury's out. I like
He's
that.
in.
He's priced at 102, which is very juicy for a rookie. His breaking even is a minus 25. He's projected 25. Is he a viable rookie option?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if he's going to continue to play,
Mhm.
and then he has to be. And we spoke about this last couple of weeks. Is that there's no rookies out there that we're holding on to at the moment that we can keep because they're all getting injured. So if you have one there, you got to try to bring him in.
I'm struggling as because I've got Wagner, I've got Roberts, there's one more player,
Constable.
and Constable, all on bench.
I've kept Constable and Bodie Ulan right from the start.
From
Yeah,
Gold Coast.
Constable too. I think he comes back in eventually, but
I don't think he can. Like I think
Rory Atkins as well. So.
Miller got out,
Spot
and there were a few other injuries, and he still couldn't get back in.
yeah.
But yeah, Jury, you have to. He's too cheap, and it's just really a matter of do you take the risk of bringing him in early?
Field
Or,
position as well, so that helps.
yeah,
Do you reckon it's more viable to give him another week and then bring him in the week after?
I think that's always been the plan. That's
Mm.
always been the logic around bring him in after the second game. So, and then do you want to risk it? Like Chev risked it with Wagner, and then he didn't get picked. So,
Being dropped. Yeah.
No, I've got him in the second week, but yeah.
Yeah, the second week. That's what I'm saying, yeah.
So it's
Okay. Next game. The Hawks, Dakey, taking on the D's. Who do you reckon here?
I reckon.
another blockbuster.
I reckon the D's
D's take this home.
D's are starting to look
Another training drill.
another training drill.
Mhm.
Hawks, to be fair, they can play patches of really good footy. They showed that against the Bulldogs.
Mm.
They played about a quarter and a half of really, really good footy. And they got players like Will Day, who's just coming through and absolute starting to look like a gun.
Yep.
He puts on a bit of weight,
Shining armor.
bit more weight, bit more muscle. He's going to be a Bont type of player.
You reckon?
I do reckon. I think he's got the ability. He might not have the presence that Bont has, but he's going to be able to get through a bit more tackles and get a bit more ball. And
Good night, our Hawks fans out there.
That is sure is. So as a Hawks, like if I was a Hawks fan, there's a lot of positives, but I don't think they're going to be too much this season. And I think Melbourne will.
I hope they win. I never say that much about the Hawks.
I reckon Melbourne will almost do 100 points on
Nah,
100 points.
hope not.
100-point win.
Gamble responsibly, guys. Any players from here that you recommend?
Gamble responsibly.
Well, I think we got to look at Gawn. Like,
Yeah.
Gawn everyone's gone. Well, Grundy gone. How are they going to go? It's freed up Gawn in the forward line. He's showing himself as a presence going forward. And then latest in games, he can swing back, and he's taken intercept marks, scoring well.
I'm still a bit iffy with Gordon. Like, even though he's there, I'm still a bit iffy with him because the first couple games back, he didn't score that well. He's been under 100, and so is this just a one-off game that he scored well, or is it getting back to his best now? So I still don't. I don't think the question has been answered. Can Gord and Grundy coexist Supercoach wise? So I don't know.
In terms of price, you're not going to get him cheaper.
No.
So
You're not.
you're gonna,
Yeah.
It's
if you're gonna
definitely
bring him in, it's
question mark still.
Priced at 512, break even of 80. He's only got to go up 10k, so it's not the end of the world. We can give him another week.
Yeah.
He did score 130 last week, so can he kick a bag? Mind you, is it who's Hawthorn's
Meek and Reeves.
Reed?
Reed, yeah.
Now he's having something
Oh, yeah.
this last couple of weeks. Can he give Grundy and Max a run for their money for this game?
Oh, I think he could. And I don't think it's really up to him. I think it's going to be how Grundy and Gawn play.
Mhm.
So I think easily they're the two best, right? So, but it's just we don't know if this last week was a outlier for them two, or if it's going to be the norm where Gawn goes back to normal.
A trade out option here that I'll most likely be taking, but the troll in me runs deep, is Cade Chandler. All right, Kate here. Get auto-corrected.
Good old Kate.
He's priced at 358. His round 8 score was 57, which is terrible. He's got a break even of 42 and projected to go 77.
Hold on, you're talking about bringing him in?
Trading him out.
Oh, out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I wanted to bring in Connor Rosie. I haven't got him, and he's a port boy. And I think the D's will win 60 plus here. So stuff your Hawk fans out there. All right. Next game. Uncle Chev. The Lions taking on the Bombers. Who do you reckon could win this game?
Lions at home, get the job done.
They got the job done on Carlton last weekend.
Yeah.
I was there.
Looked very good. We were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look very quick and they'll
Do you
big
reckon?
win coming up.
I feel like they started to peak now, which is a bit premature. Do you reckon that they could crash towards the finals? The way they go?
Look, I think they've got enough experience now in the last few years to not make the same mistake. You know, they've got to finish top two. You know, finish top two, and I think they can get those home finals. They'll play in grading. So I think they'll be there at the end. Last day.
No dramas. Any players to bring in or bring out?
Darcy Parish is the one I've noted.
Mhm.
567,000.
Yep, he's a midfield.
Reasonably priced for super primo. Round 8 score of 117, break even of 96. So I think besides he had a really good run last year and then he got injured.
Calf was it? I think.
Yeah, calf. So he's come back this year. I think he had an injury this year as well. He's come back and is, slowly building. Had a big game last week. Didn't score as well, but he had 38 positions and, hits down the ball. So I think he'll just build on that. He'll just keep scoring and score well, There's no one else to score with him. Merritt's there, but I think Parrish is more consistent.
Well, he Parrish the couple of years he's been scoring about the 114, 115 mark. Last year he scored 110. However, that game where you're talking about he got injured, he scored 51 in that game. So if you take away that score from last year's overall, that puts his average from 110 up to 115, 114, which is what his standard is, right? So at the moment he's sitting I think at about 107, I think as an average.
Yeah.
So if he was to go back to an average of what he has been doing the last 2 to 3 years of 114, you expect that he'll be scoring about 120 average for the rest of the year. All right. So if you think he can get back to an average of 115 from here onwards, then he'll be scoring 120 every game. And at 567, I think that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah.
And I'll be making 3,000 on danger to Parrish. And that's what I'll be doing this week.
Any captain options here, Chef?
Yeah. Parrish is a good one, I think. Parrish, Merritt. Lucky Neil.
Had a knock game last week.
Quiet game. Very quiet. Didn't really get tagged or anything. Got choked out a little bit. A bit of elbow on the
I saw that.
Right, but
Nick Newman did it, and he got off yesterday as well.
yeah, of course he got off.
Just a little fine.
Unbelievable.
Shoulder and go.
A bit ghetto money down the tape. I think Neil is obviously Dunkley stepped up because Neil was quiet.
Setterfield was going to tag one of them, right?
Does he go?
But Setterfield tagged Danger as well. He didn't in that game, and
yeah, that's true.
what happened there?
Dangerfield had him on a leash. Come his way, boy.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but when Neil does get tagged, he gets out. Like he can't have an influence. So yeah, Dunkley probably a good option if he can back it up.
I had a player last week in Jordan Ridley. Got hit. He's concussed. So I've got to bring him out. I've lost a lot of cash. I've lost 75k on this player with some woeful scores. He's priced at 426 defender. His break even is minus 145, projected to go 60. He needs to get out because he scored me 18 points. And in our WhatsApp group, I made a troll on Jung with Philippou, and the joke was on me this week. So I'll put my hand up and say, yep, the troll's on me.
Bomber's in big trouble.
So I'm going to have to get rid of him. I'm thinking of getting rid of him, moving Alex Chincott up to defense.
Panacotta.
And then bring in either Anderson. Yes, dangerous Dave. That's right. Anderson. Or Dawson. I do have the cash for him. I will juggle until, I guess, Friday, 7:20 and make my decision there. So you don't know what I'm going to do, Dave, until, the footy starts, mate.
Oh, you're
playing Dave this week.
I'm playing Dave this week. So, look, if I lose the first two, if his first couple of players gets up, I'll just...
Well, Dave's got both Dawson and...
He does.
So you're really...
I need to pick the right one.
You've got the safe option there instead of, being bold and, adventurous. So.
Definitely. Adventurous suicide. With like Pickett and all that. All right, let's keep moving on. Dakey. The Baggers, mate. My boys taking on your boys. How do you feel about this game?
Game of the week around
as well.
I'm a bit nervous about this week.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Carlton are going to try to shut up some of the media and just come out with a bang.
Mm-hmm.
I think they really need to
right.
prove something.
Is Bruce playing?
Pretenders, mate.
Because he kicked the bag on us last time.
Bruce is.
I'm scarred from that.
He's still out.
Bruce only kicks bags against the Kangaroos, mate.
He's also playing defence. So if he did play and kick the bag on you this year, you'd be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Are you just saying that because you don't want to jinx the Bulldogs?
No, I just
because we know that Carlton are shite.
We do, but we also know that
Let's go supporter.
that the Bulldogs will
Fair.
lapse. We have lapse of moments, and if
So
Carlton,
you're just scared. You're just scared that you don't want to say that shit.
Oh,
Because-
a little bit.
Should
It's not
they let their players down, they let the fans down. They're just a joke of a club.
Don't know. I think they might. Some of their fans might boo their players as much as Buddy got booed.
Will their fans even show up this week?
Well, it's
I
a
won't
sell.
be going.
It's a
They only go
sellout.
up when they win, so yeah, it's a good question.
To start up,
It is a sellout.
definitely not from the Bulldogs.
It would have
It's
started
our
2
home
weeks
game.
ago when they were
It's
winning.
our home game.
It's Carlton home game, and yeah, it's sellout. Hard to get tickets.
Any place here that you recommend, Dakey?
Well, you can't go past Timmy.
Mhm.
Timmy English.
Hey, boy.
He's looking an absolute beast this year. He's all Australian ruckman option. Definitely looking at that. He's looking
would be, yeah.
amazing. He's tackle pressure. He runs up and down the ground. He intercept marks.
What's his average for disposals? I think it's 20. I'm not 100%. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's average 20.
Yeah, it's up there for a ruckman. It's definitely up there.
We did call it in our first podcast. I'll just remind everyone that we did say Tim English was going to be the best ruckman this season. So
That injury cloud scared me, and I didn't pick him, and I'm full of regret. ever since.
I think
he said it, and none of us picked it.
yeah, I think I mentioned it and then I didn't pick him up.
He's only 654k, break even of 124, which is very achievable. I think his average is 134 or so, and he's projected to go 156 this week. Is he a great trading option with the injury cloud over Marshall?
Yeah, he's someone I'll definitely be looking at. I've got Marshall still, so he will be my go-to bring in if Marshall is out this week. Got a little bit of money in the kitty for him.
What was the actual reason why Marshall didn't play the fourth? Was it the rolled ankle? Was it?
Yeah.
It was a pretty bad one.
Yeah, so it
I didn't see it.
No, I didn't see it as
Oh,
well.
sorry, that was a great game. That one. I think it's the same.
It
Great
was it? It
absolutely,
was the worst round of the season.
absolutely
exhibition
great,
of kicking, kick points.
great round.
This is probably a season-defining game for the Baggers. I'm going to pick Cripps for a trading option here. He's at 604k midfielder. His round 8 score was 83, which was woeful because Dunkley put a number on him. His break even is 106, projected to go 126. Now the Baggers' next 4 games: the Dogs, the Pies, the Swans, and the D's. These are tough games. If we're going to make finals,
4, guys. 0 and 4.
Let me
Lucky
finish.
Carlton. I'd like you Carlton supporters.
0 and 4.
If we're going to make finals, we need to win at least 3 out of the 4 this week, and Cripps needs to step up.
Guys, you've heard it. Carlton's not making finals this year. You heard it from us.
Tell you what, though,
Don't say that.
like Cripps needs to.
He needs to
He
step
goes missing in the big games. I'll tell you right now. As a leader, as a captain, he needs to be that guy this week. You know, playing against the best player in the comp, arguably, he needs to really bring his A game and
No, he
and
said
get
that
on.
he's going to get 36 touches, 2 goals. Absolutely.
Oh,
I'm nervous.
this-
I'm always nervous against Carlton.
Thank you. What's going on?
I'm just nervous against Carlton. They're one of those bogey teams for the puppies, but I
When
think
was the last time they beat? It's been a while.
has been
35 points last.
yeah.
39 points. I was at that game as well.
So-
Yeah, that was a great comeback.
Yeah, it was.
Carlton just absolutely shat the bed.
Yep. Let's move on, guys. All right, Sunday games. Mother's Day. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Day.
So
Love you,
there's
Mum.
only 2 games there. Jung, the Crows and the Saints. Who wins this game? Who's going to get it for the
Man, I reckon this is game of the round.
Do you know what's funny? It's always a Sunday game as well.
I reckon this is game of the round. Looking through the other games, yeah, there is some good games, but I think definitely game of the round here. And I think Crows because they're just at home. I think Crows will win because purely
Different beast at home.
yeah.
They put a number on Carlton as well when we were there for the gather round.
Yeah.
So you reckon they'll have the same outcome?
Yeah, I think when
That
you're
keeps
a
right.
decent team,
Yeah.
when you're half decent team, the home ground advantage is massive. So I think
Straight, they'll win.
yeah, well, exactly that as well. They kick straight.
Yeah.
If they kick straight this year, they probably would win another 3 games.
Yeah.
Or 2, at least 2. So yeah, I reckon that's late.
Any plays that you recommend here?
Well, Dawson, if you haven't got him already. So I think for you,
Mhm.
bring in Dawson.
654 mid forward.
We love Dawson, don't we?
Sorry, mid defense again.
Absolutely love Dawson.
Dawson is the player I would say there. Led is another one, but hopefully Led has another off game.
Dawson
Okay.
break even is 98, so it's reasonable. Last week he scored 122
Yep.
round 8. and his projected is 142. So he could make a bit of money here as well.
Yeah, I think it's probably time of the year now where most of the good teams who are right up there needs to start bringing in these kind of star players, right? So, and especially at right now. So I think, yeah, Dawson, you have to kind of bring him in if you want to contend. I have him, but I'm not contending. So
Dawson or Laird, captain options here, safer.
Dawson's been more consistent. Yeah.
I can agree with you.
Yeah, Dawson's been more consistent.
Had him from the word go, and Husk laughed at me when I had him, and I said that he's going to kill it this season.
He killed it last season, though.
And he's-
I did. Yeah.
And towards the end of the season last season,
Yeah.
he killed it, and he's just been an
Just continued
absolute
on.
beast.
Marshall's another one. Obviously, we brought him up in the
That's right.
crowd. If he misses, it's pretty much everyone's second ruck, really.
Mm.
You know, so
He's kind of
People
by
don't
first
know.
one.
What do we do if Marshall leaves out? Because we don't have the team sheets now with us.
yeah, people
If he's out for a week, what do we do here, guys? Recommendations.
Well, I think we were talking about there's not a lot of people have ruck cover. Some people got Radicalia and some people got the other one,
Tickle.
Tinkle, yeah. But I think this is the first season in like the last 3 or 4 where there hasn't been a genuine rookie ruck that's been on the bench. So I think you can't just kind of take him and leave him on the bench because you won't have a cover. So you would have to bring in, like we said, Gordon, English,
That should be real good.
Finlayson, like I said, that's another one, right? Finlayson getting ready for potentially Darcy Cameron coming back as well. And I think we also potentially Gordon being a forward
DPP.
In round 12, that's correct, yeah.
So, Finlayson becomes a little bit more valuable now if Gordon then becomes DPP as well.
Do the switch.
100%.
I like that. I really like that one too. I reckon the Saints win it as well. You probably
Saints.
Sorry, Crows.
Yeah.
Thank you for correcting me. Chev, last game for Mother's Day. They're up and about the Pies against the Giants. What's your recommendations here? Who gets the win here first? Because the Giants have been good.
Giants have been good, but the Pies are on another level. They're my favourite to win the flag, so they'll get it done quite easily, I think.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Nick Dacos been getting tagged a bit. Do you reckon he'll get tagged again?
He needs to.
He should get tagged.
Mm-hmm.
What about someone? I think Captain did last week when
Who was it?
mentioned someone on the podcast.
Was it?
Oh no, it was the producer.
Oh, was it our producer?
Later, yeah. Even after we discussed it in our podcast,
The previous week. That's
maybe
right.
we should bring up that clip.
Now, that is now the blueprint to play Collingwood. That's how you play Nick Dacos. You know what I mean? Like just freaking come out and say we're gonna tag him, which I think Adelaide said. They came out and said we're gonna tag Nick Dacos. So we talk about it. He stands there and watches us.
But he doesn't listen.
All right. No, but he watches us, and then he goes and edits it, and it still puts Nick Dacos as captain. So
Faith in you guys.
Did that cost you the win, did it?
It did. I lost by 30 points.
and then
Sometimes we're not amateurs. Sometimes we know what we're talking about.
and what players did he have to actually pick from in his team? Dawson was one.
Dawson.
And
Bond?
Oh, jeez.
And Oliver.
Oliver?
And-
Even Sarong. If you had to go that way.
If you had to.
would have been better than Dacos. Yeah.
Missed out on the ball.
Unlucky. But yeah, the Pies get it done, mate.
Pies get it done?
Yeah.
No dramas. Who do you pick for here as a player? In or out?
I think everyone should keep an eye on Darcy Cameron, like you said, a week or 2 weeks away.
Mhm.
DPP, he was killing it before he got injured.
Mhm.
So they're still fairly cheap. Break even is still quite low. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's a viable option. There's not. I mean, got Angwin that's gonna miss. So
I'll bring it last week.
another
player.
rookie,
Another player.
I looked at bringing him
from
in. Like,
down. So yeah,
I was thinking Simpson or Angwin. Simpson, Angwin. I was like Angwin's cheaper, probably better job security, and he gets injured.
give himself really.
He did. He slide tackled bloody
English.
English like he was playing soccer or something. What was he thinking? All right, one for me to consider, guys, is Nick Dacos, a trade out option. Hear me out. Break even of 190. He's projected to go 116. His last week's score was 81, and the week before that wasn't that great as well. He is getting looked at from opposition teams and getting tagged or just held, I guess. Do we recommend, have a think about it, trade him out for 2 to 3 weeks, let his cash drop? You could probably drop about 150k, use that elsewhere, and then come back and pick him up.
I don't know,
The week
I
after
don't know
the
about you, but my trades don't grow on trees. So I don't have any boosts left. So
I'm with you on that. All the boots are gone.
I'll boost the guy.
Boots are gone.
Have you still got your boost?
I still have 3 or 4.
Oh,
I've got 2.
So I still have 3 or 4
Oh.
boosts. Well, that's the thing. Okay, that's the thing with the Dakey now. So I feel like at the end of the year, the number one winner, the winner of this comp, okay, I think he or she will come out with a story going, after that Sydney game, whatever, I went and traded out Nick Dakey, and then from there onwards, he only averaged like 90 for the rest of the season. I brought him in for who was so and so, and that kind of got me the win. I feel like that's going to be like a sliding doors moment. Nick Dakey, like he is an A-grade premium right now, but now the teams know how to kind of play him. His effectiveness, he's still getting the ball, but his effectiveness is gone down, right? So he's still getting the kick-ins, which is cheap stats. So would that going to be how it pans out for Nick Dakey? Because I remember a few years back, and the story out here a bit long-winded now, but a few years back where remember Travis Cloak had those 4 or 5 games where he was scoring 170, 180
Massive.
weeks in a row, right? So the winner of that year, he told the story how he brought Cloak in, scored those 4 or 5 scores, and then when everyone was bringing Travis Cloak in, he decided to trade him out. And from there, Cloak just went back to his normal self, and everyone got Travis Cloak at the premium price, and he made like 200,000 on him. And he said that's where he won Supercoach that year.
That was the turning point.
Yeah, that was a turning point he was saying. So Nick Dakey could, I'm not saying it's exactly it, but could be the
Possibility is there.
Yeah, could be the moment if you want to risk it. Try it first. We'll find out.
Another Collingwood player.
Big risk, because I think he's good enough to fight the
The
team.
risk does outweigh.
He's only his 2nd year though, so
He is, but he's something else.
He was that player last season where he had a downtrend and then peaked.
Last year was the opposite. A lot of people traded him out because he had
Yeah.
that, and then he picked up at the end.
yeah, I was one of those.
You're responsible enough as a coach. You guys be the judge, I guess.
Yeah.
That concludes our round now in preview. Let's go to our next segment, amateur game of the week. Young?
All right, so in a league, so we're going for now game of the week. We won't be going through the previews of all the games there. We're going for game of the week, and this week's game is we always talk about it. It just so happened to be again Dangerous Dave and Avenue. Was it Avenue FC?
Time. Yep.
Tom. I get Tom. So that game there, the scores were 2,368 apiece.
Wow.
Okay, and that got down to the last game, which was St. Kilda versus the Kangaroos. All right.
What a game.
And Dave, Dangerous Dave, he was up by 183 points. He had Steele left. Okay, and Dong, Avenue FC, he had Zeeble and Sinclair. Okay, so he was 183 points behind, and he had 2 players to catch him. And what happened? Was it right towards the end of the game? Avenue FC, you were 2 points up.
It's crazy.
2 points up, and then the scaling happened. I can't remember who scaled where, but the scale dropped Dong FC down 2 points, or vice versa, 1 point down, 1 point up, and then it became a draw. So those two teams, obviously very big scores.
Massive.
They got us draw. That's our 2nd draw for the year.
Yeah, must drew one.
Yeah, so that's our 2nd draw for the year, and those 2 teams will definitely be competing at the top end for our league this year.
Dave's the one to look out for.
Yeah,
as well as Cave.
but that game went down to scaling. So that becomes our game. That was our game of the week.
Yeah.
So great work there, guys, on that draw.
Keep it up. One last thing mentioned before we finish up is the Lance Franklin building.
Boom!
So, showing you the footage, boys. Chef, I'll go for everyone. Chef, in this game, does it need to be? I'm trying to call it out. Does it need to happen?
I don't have a particularly issue with the booing. I don't think it's. I think it's more the media, making it something that
Blowing that up,
blowing it up. Yeah, typical media type of things, but I don't find it too bad. I think he's on a. How much is he earning, mate? He's on
$1 million.
$1 million a year. Get booed. I'll take it as a sign of respect. He's great at the game. Soccer players get booed all the time. It happens in plenty of sports. Tom Brady's, Michael Jordan, LeBron's, but they rise to it and they use it as fuel. Should do the same. I don't think there's any sinister. Mind you, in saying that, and this might hurt some of the Collingwood supporters, there is going from Nicky Winmar to Adam Goods, now to Lance Franklin. The common theme there, it's all been against Collingwood. So, but I'm not saying that there's a sinister thing behind it. I just think it is what it is. Franklin's a high profile. Yeah, people have their opinions. High profile player. He's in the media a lot. He's a personality. So Eddie Maguire didn't help. In Footy Classified.
Yes,
bringing up the cost of living allowance and bringing Franklin into that conversation. So I reckon that might have everything together. It's kind of fueled that reaction. Personally,
no worries. Dakey?
I don't really understand why Collingwood supporters are booing him. I don't really see him done much against Collingwood themselves. He's not like
the back one towards the end.
he's not like a Toby Green with the Bulldogs. Like we boo him because the crap that he's done to Bont over the past.
That's right.
But he hasn't really done much to Collingwood, and I don't really get it. But I don't see a huge problem with it, as long as it's not racially like the way they're doing it. But it's hard to know like their motives behind it, because there isn't really something that stands out to me that shows them why we should be booing him.
Well, I think probably based on last year's was a prelim final. Him and Maynard had that little thing going on, and Buddy's been injured, so he hasn't been playing. So now Collingwood's come back, and he's come back and he's getting booed. So I don't know. Like I think I don't. My personal opinion is I don't agree. I don't agree and understand why Collingwood had to come out and apologise for it, which I think was silly. Like that's just is it just because he is Aboriginal? Like if they went and started booing a white player, would Collingwood come out and apologise for that? That's just I think they're trying to make it racial than what it is. It's not racial. I don't think it's racial.
Papley gets booed all the time.
Yeah,
because
he's a good player.
Stephen Hill copped it all his career.
Stephen Mill copped it. Yeah, so much.
And Valentine. it's.
So they're making it racial. Is it the same as the Adam Goods thing? It's not. The Adam Goods thing was not. However, I think Adam Goods thing probably did become that. I don't know, but I think people just started doing it because the media was going, opposition were booing him, and then they said, you know what, we're sheep, we're going to do it as well. So it's probably not even racial. It's probably just more. But anyways, like I said, like I unless you're in that position, you don't know. But I think this Buddy one, I think it's silly. I think they shouldn't have apologised.
We know Horn Francis will get booed this weekend, though.
That's reasonable because he's leaving.
Yes, he will. And I encourage everyone to.
You'll be building out.
I will.
I think that one. I think that's one well deserved. Like first round draft pick just walks out.
I'll speak my mind. If you were at Collingwood, say Franklin was, and you left, I get that booing, as some other players have in recent years, like Jason Horne-Francis, right? Yeah. But if it's racial, it's wrong. It's just plain wrong. There's no room for racism here. Okay, I agree with Chev mentioning unless I agree with Chev. Let me finish, guys, please. With the media blowing it up to proportion, it's just I don't get it. Just cut it out and let's move on. And yeah, let's just leave it at that. So, Buddy, I hope you kick a bag against Freo. And yeah, I love you as a player, man. You've kicked 1,000 goals. You've made this sport enjoyable. Like I've watched it, AFL footy for the last 10 years, and I've loved every game. especially that you've played. You kicked 13 goals against the Kangas. Sorry to hurt your old wound there, Chef.
Just gonna bring that up. Yeah.
But
That great goal that he runs away and
yeah,
kicks
yeah,
it on the boundary.
definitely. I love watching
He's
it.
an icon of the game. You know, he's
Definitely.
a champion. He's going to go down as one of the greats.
Absolutely.
So if there's anything sinister behind it, that's wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but I honestly think, Frank, like I said, I put Franklin up in that pedestal like a Tom Brady, a Jordan. You know, probably not. You know, but you know, kind of in that mold. So just take it on the chin, buddy. Come out, kick 10 goals. There you go.
That's it. That's it, guys. Please like, share, hit the notification button for more content, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Is it?
We always don't know.
We always don't know, but just ding. And happy Mother's Day on Sunday to all the mothers,
But also, we also like to say something after we finish,
as always.
like always, is if we get 2 likes, guys, Dakey will shave his beard.
Don't know about
Yes,
that.
That's 2 likes. That's all we need.
Maybe 2 million, but
2 likes, guys. Shave his beard. All right.
not happening, boys.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye.